So what used to take days, things like strategy, things like copy, things like creating websites, can now be done in hours in OpenClaw. AI has actually changed the game. And if you're a remodeling company, right, you can now deploy AI agents that actually know your business, right, and then do autonomous work for you. Again, not just write text or blog posts or stuff. These are actual real workflow output. So today I'll show you the full architecture, right? And then a real implementation of one of the things that we implemented with this, right? And then I'll show you like a follow-up engine, which you can actually deploy today in your business. And so you get a download at the end of the video. All right. So basically, so here's what remodelers are still doing. People are still doing manual follow-up, inconsistent messaging, and a lot of your context, a lot of your business context is trapped in random places, right? You might have a CRM here, you might have like a sales call tool, you might have like a quoting engine, and then all your data is in like different locations. But the problem is that model is breaking. If you don't switch to what I'm about to show you today, you can actually be left behind, with the AI implementation as well too, right? So companies that are winning right now are building AI operating systems. That's what I actually call them. They are not like different one-off prompts, right? So if you're still using AI to basically just go to ChatGPT, type in a question, and then it sends up stuff back to you, I think we're kind of past that, right? You're not making use of the like 80% of what it can actually give you, right? So a prompt gives you one output, right? But if you have a system, it can give you repeatable execution. So now you have to kind of think differently, right? So instead of using AI to write something or AI to answer something, think of how do I deploy agents that can do autonomous work using my company context. And that's how you unlock the power of AI, right? So before agents can actually do useful work, right? So this is the architecture I'm actually going to show you. They need context. It definitely is. Before we actually even get to this point, we need context, right? And then what we are calling that context is the business brain, is the brain here, right? If the brain is weak, again, outputs are generic. So this is how we're going to build it, right? So what we're going to show here is your data is living in multiple locations, right? So imagine having one place where we can actually build the whole information that our business needs, and then we can use AI to deploy agents off of that. So things like you have your business philosophy, the offers and the positioning that you do, what kind of offers you have. Is it kitchen? Is it ADUs? The voice and messaging. So how you want to be able to speak to your clients. Because again, we know what AI slop is, right? If you just type, okay, give me an email, AI is going to give you an email, but it's going to sound like AI, right? So we have to be able to like, give it a voice so it knows how to speak, right? And then the best part about this also, we can also give it clients profiles, right? Previous jobs that we've done, and then kind of explain what we did for that job, and then we can use that information later to create case studies or to create blog posts or to create even follow-ups for clients, right? So think of this like, training your internal AI team. So if imagine, then another thing I can also add is like client pain points, because you know what your clients have struggled with. What was the reason why they wanted a bigger kitchen, for example? Or what was the reason why they wanted to build an addition in their home, right? So if we have that all those pain points, then we can use this later, which I'm going to show you how we can use all this information to be able to pull to actually create all these assets that we need to grow the business. And one really powerful, important one is the sales calls, right? The sales call transcripts. So if your sales team is actually trying to close clients, right? When you're speaking to them, you're trying to like discover and find out what the clients are actually going through, right? So you can actually pull that from what we call the voice of customer. So if you can kind of log all the sales call transcripts, then we build a better brain as well. So imagine having all that information. Then we can now pull AI agents to do content creation, sales enablement, team onboarding, right? So all the skills that we're going to create later are going to actually come from having that business brain. If you can understand what I'm trying to say. So what I mean is, so when we now have that brain, so imagine here we have information of if all the information in the brain, and then we have the agents. Now we can now have agents to go create all these assets for us. But before I even do that, right? Let's talk about what other context the AI agent can actually need, right? So this is what I was saying. We have voice profiles, so we can have multiple voice profiles, like maybe one for the sales team, one for the follow-up team, one for the actual on-site construction team as well too, right? So basically people are speaking in different voices, and then also all the copy is coming in these different voice profiles, because we don't want to have start speaking in AI slop, right? So as I said, we also have the sales transcripts, and then we have all the calls logged into the brain. But then now your agents can generate SMS follow-ups, right? It can generate email follow-ups, right? It can generate white papers, because imagine all this content that we can actually use to get potential prospects that are not closed yet. So all this information with the videos and content, because you need to be producing content on social media, but you're not doing it because it's a lot of work. So imagine having an AI agent that actually goes in, understands your business, and then can create all this information autonomously, and then use that to engage your prospects. And then when it creates them, it just doesn't just create them. It also can do the distribution, right? So you can actually have it go in that to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to Instagram, and create all these posts. So this is what I'm actually building right now. Over the next 4 weeks, I'm actually going to be building like a whole operating system for remodeling companies, where we can create like not a huge, actually a standard operating system that will actually do all the marketing for the remodeling company. So stay tuned. We're going to do this all in the public, and I'm really excited to see how we're going to show you how that works. All right, so basically, so what we now have here is like we have operational leverage, because you have not just one post or one video. It's kind of like it's a huge architecture with multiple outputs, right? It gives you like better pipeline performance, where all the information coming in, it is actually homogeneous because it's coming from your company's data. So now let's go a little bit of concrete, because again, I'm actually talking right now. You probably kind of get a concept, but what I was able to do, for example, is I built a business brain for a fictitious remodeling company, right? I didn't want to use one of our clients' data, because that's all kind of protected, right? So I said, what, go build me like follow-up emails for this business. So what I had to do was to give me a follow-up sequence for people that when leads come in, right? So if a lead came in and then did not book an appointment, we also have a follow-up sequence for leads that actually booked an appointment. We also have one more for leads that booked but did not show up, right? So the idea is now we want actual follow-up sequences to create this, right? So I started with the business brain. So I fed it all the information about the company, what they do, what they offer, what the voice is, and then I said, give me that follow-up sequence. So here I have this immediate speed touch, right? So 5 to 10 minutes. Hello, thanks for reaching out about your kitchen renovation. Here's a link to grab a quick 15-minute call with us. We'd love to hear what you're working with. And then we put the link in there, right? The second one is after 24 hours, they still don't book, right? We kind of now reference the pain directly. So most homeowners we hear from describe their kitchen as, this is actual voice of customer. This is coming from the client pain points that we have here, right? So also from the sales call transcripts, we know what clients are always complaining about, right? So then it's actually able to pull out, say, the room slows everything down, not enough counter space, or the cabinets that just don't work anymore. Does that sound familiar? We know the pain points that people actually bring up most of the time, right? And then so what we are doing is now we are tying the booking to the relief and not just a sale, right? So the client has a pain point. Now, how do we want to solve it? Book a call and let's talk about it, right? Then it's just really cool stuff, right? So then the third one is like, okay, the third follow-up is in 72 hours. So talk about a kitchen renovation isn't just about looks, it's about getting your home back. Whether it's hosting again, cooking with chaos, like what's driving this for you? You let me know. So this is like a soft question that invites a reply, and it's qualifying the intent. Again, we know what the clients want to go get to, right? So what they're running away from is basically the pain of having not enough counter space, but then they want to go towards being able to host again, being able to cook without chaos, right? So it built basically the full automation for me. So day 0, day 2, day 5, day 10. And then the final step is actually to take this and then plug this automatically into our CRM software, right? So we either use GHL or HubSpot, right? So the AI agent will just take this. When we approve all the follow-up sequences, it just goes in there, implements it, and then it's there. And all this happens within a couple of hours, right? Of creating the skill, right? Implementing the actual steps in the skill, implementing the actual steps in the skill, and then implementing that on the CRM as well too. Okay, so I hope you guys have actually seen the possibilities of how we can actually use AI to run most of the day-to-day tasks in a remodeling company. In the description below, I'm going to put in like a link where you can actually download how to create a business brain. That's the first one. And then second of how we can use this business brain to create a follow-up sequence like I've shown you here for your remodeling company. And then stay tuned in the next video. I'm going to actually create even more information, because what we need is a solid layer. Once we have that solid layer to bounce off of, I don't know, the sky's the limit, right? So we're going to create even more assets that we can use in the company as well too. All right, so thanks for watching the video. So stay tuned for that next video. Subscribe so that you get notified when that next video launches. All right, talk soon.